Well, let's get started. I hope to be, I don't know, these things are kind of funny. They're what you get is what you put into it, right? So if you're sleeping, you're probably sleeping life, probably gonna get what you got yesterday, the day before that, right? But if you want to have meaningful change in your life, you got to engage with that thing in front of you. And a lot of times it's just somebody just pokes something in you and awakens it. And then that thing becomes that modus operandi that you go after every day. And so it could be, for me, it was love. That sounds weird, but it was love. So my what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take you on this journey, because I think stories are lore. Like the lore of stories are what helps us stay in the game or remember or want to engage with that thing. And so I'm going to tell you a lot of stories today. And my hope is that you'll take the stories and each one of you will pull out something different, right? I don't, depending on what you heard, kind of the background and like what you guys wanted to get out of this. Some people want some business skills. Some people want anything, right? Some people want to be able to learn mistakes. So maybe they want to do that same thing. Maybe they don't. Some people need that experience. Some people can learn from others, not do the thing. But in any case, you guys are fair enough. Some of you can be like, man, this sucks. Hopefully it's just one again. Maybe not even one. Maybe it's just like, actually, none of you guys really think that. I've been doing this too long to know. And if you do think that, it's just you, it's not me, okay? That's not how I'm doing, right? All right, so let's get started. Let's go to that first slide. Have you guys heard this quote? A journey of 1,000, what is it? Finish the report. A journey of 1,000 miles. What else? Steps. Yeah. Who said steps? Tell me your name again. Nolan. Gold star Nolan, all right. Nolan, gold star right here. Kind of vibing with me. That's what that tells me. Right? Journey of 1,000 steps. 1,000 steps. A little problem. Like each one of us, if I stood in Nolan's shoes right now, and I took a little rewind the tape, I mean, there's some stuff I'd be like, yo, that's right. Zeroed in on your life. Hopefully. I think we would. Okay. We all have interesting things about our life. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back, because how many of you guys know, go to that next slide, Steve Jobs. You guys know this guy? And in my quest to like discover myself and who I am and what I want to accomplish, it's okay, I can tell you what he said. He basically broke down the fact that we can't connect the dots in our lives going forward. We connect them looking backwards. Right? So by looking at and reviewing our history, reviewing our life, we can connect the dots and make sense of things, because life's pretty crazy. Let's just be clear, right? You guys are wearing masks, and we got an epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want. I don't know. We're freaking, like, people are freaking out. I've had 2 friends kill themselves in 2020. One was my best friend. Like, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, right? We got people who are like running away from their country, right? Like, and people in here running away. Same thing here, in a different way, not as much violence. But my point is that there's a lot of chaos, right? In the midst of the chaos, there's got to be some type of peace you can find. And I think the way we find peace is by looking back and connecting the dots. So I'm going to take you through that. And so anybody disagree with this guy being a successful person? Having a good business idea at all? How many of you have iPhones? How many of you have ever used an iPhone? How many of you have ever used an Apple product? I need you to put your hands high if you've ever used an Apple product ever. So there's, I don't know, 12, 14 people in this class, and only 2 people have never used an Apple. That's pretty good stuff. And maybe I didn't check it. You guys they're part of the cult, of Steve Jobs. So God knows what he's talking about. That's what I'm trying to find, right? A credible source. I may not know what I'm talking about, but clearly he knows what he's talking about because you guys have all bought stuff in the sense of a business. I didn't say like theology, like beliefs about life. Let's go to the next slide. So if we connect the dots to my life, going backwards, I grew up in the South, so I'm loud, and I love being loud because I don't know, it's just me. I got some who loves being loud in here. Right? Yeah, so I got some people with me. Y'all my people. Say you're my people. You're my people. Say.
I'm your people.
I'm your people. Thank you. My people now. Sorry. Quiet ones. It's okay. I like to be quiet sometimes. But God made me in a way that I'm loud, right? And so in the South, we eat a lot of food. My mom, she's from Georgia. My dad's from Tallahassee, but we pretty much have a pretty strong military heritage in our. And if you go to that next slide there, you'll see that my father, he was a naval chief. He served on the USS Stark back in 1987, and this ship was actually hit by 2 Exocet missiles from the Iraqis. So the same game we're playing, we were playing that same game in 1987, and we were playing that same game. I mean, they've been playing that game since like the Bible times, like when we were dirt or not even heard of, or like we're space people. I don't know where we were, but the point is that that's something that's been happening for eons, right? Conflict over there. Well, my father one day sitting at home and we're doing what kids do, picking our siblings or fighting or something. I don't know what I was doing, but my mom's like, go in the room and watch TV. So I go out there, we watch TV, and we see my dad's ship. And we've been on it because that's what you do when you're a military kid. You go hang out with your dad's stuff, right? Got a dad. So we're doing that, and his picture comes up on the screen. Now, this wouldn't happen today, but his picture comes up. And it was showing all the sailors who were killed on that ship. Now this would be crazy that it would happen, but simultaneously, when that picture came up and those people were shown on that TV, we got a knock at the door saying it was my dad's friend, another guy with me, and they came with a flag. And at the time, you're not really connecting the dots because you're a kid. I'm 5 years old this time, but I remember the scream was like to the point where it was a scream of death. And so mom says, "Don't open the door." We open the door, and that knock was not that I honestly, from that moment to a large part of my life, did not recognize that as a very educational experience. It was very traumatizing. It was very lonely. And quite frankly, there was a lot of anger and a lot of pain around this. And so understanding what I just brought up about Steve Jobs, you go, well, how the freak can you find joy in that, right? Like there is no way to find some peace with that. There is not. Like I don't see anything positive about that situation. Well, this is a time when, so you fast forward a few years, this is like my probably 6th grade or 7th grade. At this point, I'm in a few different games. I've got pretty affiliated well with them. Probably done a lot of bad things to people. Not necessarily the best person around, a lot of anger, right? Not a very happy person. But at this event, this is a memorial service in Jacksonville. I mean, this guy. Your name, no. I'd love to tell you a story about Christian. He's talking to us. He's sitting down with our family. He begins to tell me, am I still in the box? I really want to leave this box. Am I good?
Good.
I'm good. All right. He begins to tell me that my dad saved. And so he says, look, I'm here because of your dad. And if it wasn't for him, Now, I spoke to this guy probably 30, okay, realistically, the intent conversation was about 30 seconds. But in 30 seconds, paradigms changed. I gave up a lot of stuff that I was holding on to in 30 seconds. And you know what it was purpose. I had purpose. I wasn't going to waste my life or walk around being angry at everybody around me because I found something to live for. Found something to live for. So my advice to people now is you got to find something to live for. You got to find a purpose. And money could be, it moves you. But this really, really moved me. Like, I'm talking about, like, do you understand, like, in a gang situation, they will kill you if you leave, right? It's like the opposite of, like, brotherhood. It's like, hey, it's like trapping like crazy. It's like, yeah, we love you. We're going to provide for you food. We're going to give you clothing. We're going to give you a gun. We're going to give you people to hang out with. You're going to be surrounded by all this love, right? The thing that you want the most, we're going to give it to you. But if you ever leave us, we'll kill you. What kind of message is that? It sounds crazy. It is crazy. Yeah, in fact. Yeah. So my point about this is that even with that on the line, I couldn't give a crap about it. You see, when you have purpose about something, you don't eat like food, drink, the bare necessities of life in terms of survival go out the window. You have no fear. That's a really cool place to be. And I found that at like sixth grade, 13-year-old. 13 years old, I understood how fear could drive us and keep us away from God. So from that moment on, things started changing. Doors started opening up. Let's go, you can go next. And really what happened is like these things here were kind of the foundational things that shifted. So in school, I was told by my economics teacher. I had a mentor. So what happens, when you find purpose, all of a sudden people start to show up in your life that will support your purpose. There's other people too, but you start to recognize those people that support your purpose. So once I figured out what I wanted, in the sense of I want to love the right way, not the wrong way. I want to be able to say my mom, and I want to be a respectable person. I want to be a freaking superstar athlete. That's what I'm gonna do, man. I'm gonna go to the NFL. That's what I'm gonna do, right? So I put all my focus there, right? I knew I had to get the education. I knew I had to learn how to read and write, because at the time, I couldn't. I know you say, how is that possible in sixth grade? Well, just push you along. Not my problem. Not my problem. Not my problem. Oh, I'm in Salt Lake Community College. I don't know how to read and write. Not my problem. Move along. All right, listen, I'm just, but a lot of people did that to me. And this lady named Miss Cross, she says, I don't know how you got here, but I know how you're gonna leave. And she spent education, write what a paragraph look like instead of my chicken scratch, right? Or be able to read in a way that's not like da 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 da. So you can understand what I'm talking or reading, right? So purpose. You figure that out, people start lying. One guy showed up, David Coro was a multimillionaire, but not the way you think. He didn't start any company. He just saved his money, and he played it smart. And one day we end up our paths crossing, and he says he wants to be my mentor. Now I'm 17 years old, and he decided to put himself in my life because he was 17-year-old kids and me running around a lot. So what I did is he signed up for junior achievement. I don't know if you guys ever had that in school. He became our junior achievement teacher, and he engaged himself in the community in such a way where he'd be around a lot. Right? You see what I was doing? One day, my economics professor said, said that to you. I told that to my mentor. My mentor never told me until I graduated from college at Florida State. Now, the reason I tell you that is because he made it his personal agenda to make sure I graduated. And when I graduated, because of my situation at school and not being able to have, I struggled in taking tests. Shorten the story, but there's a lot of things you're gonna have to overcome as an entrepreneur, as an individual, as a human being. But in doing so, in the midst of it, it's like, this freaking sucks. Like, to your point, brought up, like, it sucks, man, but you gotta go through it. You gotta go through it. There's something about getting into that and then coming out on the other side. You don't understand why at first. But as I go through high school, everybody's graduating. We go to our high school graduation. I get a full ride scholarship at Florida State. And we have this thing called a high school competency test we have to take before you graduate. We have it here in Utah, but we have it in Florida. And if you don't take that, if you don't pass that test, doesn't matter what your GPA is, doesn't matter what your SAT, doesn't matter what your ACT is, you do not graduate until you pass the test. It's a stupid thing. It doesn't make any sense. Because if I have a 3.8 GPA, which I had, but I'm a horrible test taker, so my ACT and SATs were like stupidly low. I don't even know what the number was. But they were good enough for me to get into college. And it should have been good enough for me to high school. I didn't. So the day everybody's walking around with their diplomas and they're graduating, I was crying in the corner because I had my little casing, but I didn't never open it up. Open it up. I'm like, no, like shakas and everybody's doing peace sign, but inside I was hurt. I was like, it's okay, because I'm gonna go play football and I'll take that. Go play football, go this summer, and the coach said, hey, look, you can't play. You haven't officially graduated. All that time you spent since 6th grade, like focusing on your education, changing your philosophy, talking about how much money you're gonna make, you're gonna be in the NFL. They're saying, hey, those dreams aren't gonna happen, pal. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I'm all sad. And so what I do, I don't know what you guys do, but I pray. Some people meditate, some people cry, some people throw things or fight, right? Like I just pray, right? I don't know if you can say that. I'm not. So that's it. That's what I did. And ended up being, my opinion, I felt like I was got to this place. This guy, his name was Nico. Knocked on this apartment. I can't live in the dorms. You guys have apartments left. School starts next week. Can you tell me the names of the people that are there? Name, and she named this guy named Bernie. That's my dad's. That breadcrumb, and I'm gonna take it, right? This might be my opportunity. I don't know, that door closed, that door not. So from a perspective of like, this is my purpose, I know I'm supposed to do this. Well, my whole life got turned upside down. But also when that door closed, and I ended up, Miko actually ended up introducing me to some church folks, and ended up not even going and playing football, doing some missionary stuff. And from there, I met my business partner. And from there, we ended up starting a $200 million company. Well, now it's but it was all from like, but I wanted to go to the NFL, man. And so I get back, so hold on, let me back up. I get back from that little mission deal. And this school called BYU called. Yo, you want to come out? Where are you guys at? Like, Utah. I was like, where's Utah? Anyway, I really didn't think, I know that sounds weird, right? But I knew like where Utah was. But before I went to Florida State, I didn't. Sorry. It's not, nothing is. good that nobody knows. But I ended up coming out here. Beautiful, beautiful girl. She had chains and she's serving everybody, just talking to the coaches because she knew them. I've never dated a black girl in my life, right? She was gorgeous. She was just classy. Classy is the best way to describe it. And so I didn't do anything. I was like, whatever. And then she showed up at the hotel staying because her friend worked there. It was like serendipity now. I'm like, it's on. But then one of the other players is like, I'm gonna go talk to her. And I'm like, dang it. All right, so I let him do that. And he goes, chats with her, and leaves. Anyway, we ended up getting married. It's a long story short. She liked me better. So the value in that purpose and people is that if you're clear, they may not show up today, but they're gonna show up. And my wife is the antithesis of everything. It's amazing how beautifully packaged she arrived. And so like, it's just funny looking back at all that stuff and seeing how if I would have been at Florida State, gone to the NFL, I would have been, never would have went on that transition. I never would have ended up at BYU because I wouldn't need to. But I was like, hey, what the heck, a free trip? I'm gonna do it, right? I'm not gonna play for him, but I'm gonna take the trip, right? Like, why not? Take the opportunity. They come knocking. Take every opportunity that comes to you. That's like a no-brainer, but some people don't. People get scared. Do not let fear cheat you out of opportunity. Because it will sneak up. Your brain's trying to survive. And if you're trying to do something new that doesn't feel right, your brain's gonna say, yo, get out of there. Do not go down there. Those people are crazy. There's not even black people in Utah, right? Don't do it, Tyrone. And that's what it was saying to me. My mom's the worst with this stuff, right? She's like, boy, I'm telling you, Jesus told me to tell you. I'm like, Mom, Jesus didn't tell you that. She's like, I know, but I'm just trying to keep you here. I'm like, dang, that's messed up, right? That's why I don't talk to my mom about this kind of stuff. You know who you consult with? You, or somebody who's who's been down that road, who can guide you, right? So I pray, right? Whatever you do, right? Go consult your mentor or whatever your thing is. But my point is that you got your people and you figure out your purpose. And then when you figure out your purpose and your people, those opportunities are going to come to you, but you can't push them away because you're afraid of them. You got to take them. You got to take 100% of the shots that you get because you don't know what's going to come out of it. It might be the very thing that you're looking for, but you don't see it in the way that you think. So I go off to chiropractic college. Years later, I thought that was what I wanted to do. And in the midst of that, that's when I say my business partner, and at the time, we were like, hey, we're gonna be chiropractors. We met each other in the mission. We're like, yo, his dad was a chiropractor. He's like, I'll pay you guys $200,000 a year. You guys just run this entire practice. I'm like, oh, free $200,000? What is that? That's like, I don't even know what that looks like. Let's do it, okay? And so we get in there, and about a year into chiropractic, he calls us. We got this opportunity to start this company. Pioneers of launch it. You guys running it. First, you'll start small, you'll build it out, build a sales force. And we said yes. Said yes. I was in school. I don't know what kind of credit. I mean, here's a guy who had dyslexia, whatever that thing's called. They had, and couldn't graduate, right? Now he's in freaking school to become a doctor, taking like molecular biology, like organic chemistry 1 and 2, like ridiculous high-level sciences to the point where you're like ear, nose, and throat, where you literally are like not dissecting, like getting granular in the detail of the human body and pathology of disease. Like that is some crazy stuff to be able to come from a dude who couldn't write in 6th grade to a guy who's like legitimately gonna start working on your body. Like that's weird, right? But it's amazing what happens when you figure out your purpose, people start showing up in your life who believe in you. And when people believe in you, that you're surrounded around, you start to elevate with that. You start to rise to that equation. In fact, the guys who we started this company with, they didn't really want me and my buddy on there. You know, they thought we were chumps. You know, we didn't have any experience. We were wet behind the ears, is what they said. And you know, one of the other founders was like, no, what they lack in experience, they'll make up for in their grit and grind. So we're like, all right, we get it. And we outpaced every single person in that freaking company. Because we wanted it more. That's the other thing, you gotta want it. You gotta really, really, really. And if you don't have the burning desire, then you're just dead. You are. You might as well do something else. If it doesn't fuel you, then you just get out. Because it's not going to carry. When someone tells me about what they do, when we sit down with these entrepreneurs and they're communicating their deck or their experience about the company they want to create, when they're talking, it's not just like, hey, I got this thing I'm doing, bro. What do you think? Yeah, you guys, I'm asking you, would you guys invest? No. People do though. People do sometimes. They don't make any money because that entrepreneur can't even fog a mirror at this point. Like that is dead to me. That kind of spirit, that kind of, the person who's got that charge, there's a company called Donde. Donde, it's a pretty cool tech about HR travel, right? So you travel in your company using time on. So anyway, they created this company. The co-founder of that company, her name is Riley, one of the co-founders. When she speaks with fire, man. She has a whole crowd jumping, you know? And you need those kind of people to be the captain of that ship. And what I'm trying to say is, when you have your stuff figured out from a business standpoint, those of you looking at creating a business, or trying to figure out, discover that idea, when you speak, it's like you're in love with yourself or your idea. Like, you're just, man, I'm this little head on the hills. She just like talks to me all the time. I can't get rid of her. Like, I love it. You know, like that's how your business has to be communicated. But if it is, people will be drawn to you. Your people will be drawn to you, and they will want to do whatever it takes to make you successful. And you could be the quietest person in the world and still communicate that special thing about what it is you do, what your company does. You can still do it. Because Riley, she is quiet. She speaks with fire. All right. So hold on, real quick. So I had to change my philosophy about life. Right? So there may be some paradigms you have to change about your life. There's some false evidence appearing real that's fears. Maybe you need to get rid of fear and understand the difference between danger and fear. Because danger is real, fear is not. Fear is something else. But I had to change my philosophies in order to create money and success. And I used education as a way to do that, right? I surrounded myself around very, very, very successful people in the industries that I'm in to basically shorten the educational system learning time. So I don't have a lot of degrees, but if you said, hey, how many people have taught you? How many people you sat down with? I mean, I probably had like 80,000 different degrees. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of education in the brain. So my mentor told me when I was a kid, he said, look, I can't teach you everything. He goes, and you don't like reading. So do this. Read people. Read people. You know, some of the most successful people walking around are walking library books. And you can pick them up and read them. In Ecuador, they can tell you their success. They can tell you their failures. They can tell you their cheat codes. To Ryan? Ryan? Yeah. Why do you say yes when I was saying? Oh, no. You're not Ryan, Sam. I know you want to be Ryan.
Yeah, so badly.
Yeah, for real. I can feel it. No, Sam, for real.
Maybe that's what I should think.
Your cheat codes. You're the cheat code guy, right? You're looking for the shortcut. The shortcut is people. Relationships are your shortcut. Learn from others and get their stories. I mean, in fact, right before I met, before Lisa and I came in here, I had a conference call with a guy named Rob. Well, pretty successful guy. I arguably say he created the internet. Between him and another guy that was on that call. I can't remember his name right now. But they literally are working on the next thing, the next like technical thing, and they're not playing with dollars or a $50 million fund. These guys are like, they're multi-billionaires themselves, but but I would have never been able to sit at that table back when I was in that state where I wasn't loved and I was joining those groups that were fulfilling me because I was lacking something in my life. The problem is that we don't understand we have everything we need is in us. We don't need anybody else. But what you need to do is be clear with who you are so that you can attract what you want, but also so that you can sit at the table of other people and say, hey, look, that guy's just like me. We're mirrors of each other in different places, but we're mirrors. Noah and I are the same people, same people experiencing mortality, different circumstances. But what makes him different from the billionaire guy that was nothing? Maybe some cash, but I guarantee you they talk for long enough, they'll find the common ground. But I would have never been able to sit in that situation because when you are lacking in your life, then you try to like, pull. I need you, I need you, I need you. I need you to help me with my money. I need you to pay my bills. I need you to pay my car payment. I need you. You don't need anybody. You got everything you need. You just got to access it. So what I'm teaching you is not going to give you a financial model equation that you can come out with. No, this is just the raw facts of life. This is just truth, right? This is just my experience of truth in my life and in a lot of people that I've interacted with. But it starts there in your philosophy. You don't have that figured out, you can't even get started. Because what happens when you get started in creating something like that is something like this. When you get to that place of where you want to go, say it's a multi-million-dollar company, or that family that you just want to build, because you see all these beautiful pictures of all these families, right? So when you get that family, it's, oh man, I got her, I married that girl, I got these kids, I got this beautiful business that we built, it's publicly traded, it's over $200 million, and you helped build that damn thing, yeah. And when you get there, something happens at night. Something happens here. Whatever it is. Like something from your past, if you haven't figured that crap out, it will come back and haunt you. You know the beautiful story of the Christmas Carol where Scrooge, is getting all these people showing up, right? Trying to help him resolve his past. Well, we carry that same stuff with us every day. Doesn't matter what you dress like, doesn't matter how many masks you put on, doesn't matter what kind of money you make, what kind of car you drive. The one thing I know about every single person in this room, we all have that voice. And it will eat you alive if you don't have it in check. Now, I'm not saying it goes away. But for the most part, my experience, you just learn how to appreciate it. Example, that company we built. Oh, yes, thank you. So much stuff. All right, I got to go to questions, Q&A. But in short, that company we built, I ended up losing all of my money. I sold all of my stock. I sold my position in that company. Worth over probably like $10 million just for that. I did it without my wife's knowing. Sad. Luckily for me, in that moment, I realized that I was still broken. I had figured out a lot of this crap. So I went to work on me. Figured out who I was. Figured out a lot of those things I tried to hide. I got to work on those things. When I got to work on those things, people started showing up. Helped me support in that. Gave me a roadmap to kind of get out of that. Also learn how to connect with it. So that's it. How I got to my industry that I'm in right now is at that moment I just wrote a book. I wrote my book on Navigate to Greatness. That is like, my brother's like, bro. He's depressed, sad. But then one day, my brother and I, we mapped out like a book, put it on a podcast. And this guy called me, he's like, hey, I watched your podcast. I want to help you write a book. Yo, it's crazy. I always want to write a book. So I go take this book to a VC. I'm like, hey, run our fund. What I tell you guys to say?
Yes.
All together now. We're quiet now. We're in the South. Say it again.
Yes.
All right. Say. I said it. Moment on. However I can serve you. Anyway, you're nice. This is one of my favorite people. That was the this is my life, right? Somebody tell you can't do this, or you feel like you're not able to do that. There's always another way around it. I don't have the degrees to support where I'm at in my position or title. But what I lacked in these things, I made up for in other places. I left my contact info up here. You guys can reach me via email. I've done the phone number thing once, and that was really, really bad. So I've learned. You guys want to ever volunteer, help out, or internships? If anybody's looking to do that, or want to support us at one of our events, or come check us out. Come take a tour of the facility. All right, questions? Yes.
Where do you recommend looking for that purpose? Doesn't you stumble upon, or just figure out as you go, or is there somewhere work towards?
Question. Tell me your name, because you weren't here in the beginning.
Roger.
Roger. Roger that, Roger. All right. All right, Roger. Roger says, hey, what would you suggest for discovering your purpose? Well, there's a little game I call the GPS. All right, so you find your gifts, passions, snags, kind of intersection of the two, helps you navigate what that is. That's not deep though. That's just more like taking these little tests that you take personality. And I can, if you email me, I can send them. No charge. I'm trying to make you money. You guys don't have that money. Some of you do. Some people actually. So one of my investors goes to college right now. He's doing his undergrad. He's a billionaire in our state. He goes to UVU right now. Just sitting in class. He's in history class. So there may be somebody in this room that's like that. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't judge a book by its cover. And the dude wears flip-flops. He looks like a hippie. All right, you wouldn't even recognize him. So that's what. So email me, Roger, and I'll get you next. But there are programs out there where they do cost money. But look, I'm a fundraiser. You don't have to spend your money if you speak passionately about you discovering yourself, like I want to find out who I really am. I want to dig deep in my life. And you go speak to enough people, you can pay for these classes. They're like $3,000. Some of them are like ridiculous in the cost, but the value that you get out of that, they basically microwave your life and your success. I mean, they do, it is freaking crazy, but it's real. Joke you not. But you want information, just email me. Any other questions? I know I didn't get into fund management stuff, but guys, it is freaking awesome. Yeah.
You think your philosophies and paradigms can be ever changing based on
Yes,
experience?
yes, absolutely, 100%, all the time. I mean, my wife and I, we have marriage counseling class every other Wednesday, and I tell you that because we're not like on the verge of divorce or anything like that, but we're constantly, if we're not pushed or putting ourselves in a place where we can constantly evaluate, we'll run amok, we'll get lazy. We'll be complacent. And so we do that as a way, because we didn't grow up in a communication household. I should say, I didn't grow up in a communication household. And so understanding how to communicate and recognize when my wife's trying to communicate with me, I gotta miss those things, right? Like, what'd you say? When you say that? I don't remember that, right? But I wanna be able to communicate with my wife in a way that our relationship explode to the moon, right? Past the moon to another galaxy, bro. You know, and so in order to do that, I need to clean up some of these. Yeah, 100%. Good question. Right. Anything. I don't care. What I eat for breakfast.
What position did you play on?
Oh, we got a football person in the room. Okay. I played cornerback. And when I got recruited, I thought I was going to be playing running back. It's Jen, right?
Jen.
Danielle, I was wondering what year you played. I love it.
Right on. That's my people's right there.
Yeah.
My people.
What year?
2001 and then I left. And so 05. So 01, and then I went to community college for a year, went on a mission, came back, went to community college for a semester, and went to Florida State. So I graduated in 08. Yeah, I'm trying to, like I love hooking people up. It's like my favorite thing to do is to give people gifts, right? So like, Florida State stuff. Send me a text. I like the Florida State stuff. If you ever get anything, hook me up. Right?
Yeah.
I got you. All right. Anybody else?
What is your company necessarily?
Currently,
Yeah.
we invest in early seed stage companies. So I never knew what venture was. Right? My first time hearing the word fund, I legitimately thought the guy was spelling F-U. I was like, yeah, I guess I'll run your fund. There were a bunch of engineers. Like I thought that they weren't really the fun people in the world, but I thought he was saying like, I really did, right? And so I really think it's an educational thing for me to tell you this, but family office, so rich people make a lot of money, they need to have somebody like put it in right places. Usually they'll hire a team of people, experts, that will come into their family, not like literally, but they call it a family office. They're taking some family name. What's your last name, my son?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should, Other guy.
Yeah.
Other guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. I said it right. All right. Other guy. So Other guy, the Other guy family would, let's say you guys were in oil and gas, you would have somebody who would come in and they'd have a team of people. You'd have someone who would be a controller, accountant, kind of, that would check all the books, make sure that you'd have somebody who was in real estate. Usually you'd have Typically, they have somebody who's in markets, who's putting the money in markets. And then sometimes, more so now than in the past, they'll have a venture guy or a private equity person. And so private equity has two kind of worlds in it. It's got your private equity, they're buying business, and then you got your venture capital. And the venture capital is those are like the ones they're betting on companies that really haven't proven themselves. And that's where I live. It's the entrepreneur who's like, yo, I got this idea, and in venture, there are like different stages of venture. There's pre-seed, there's seed stage, and then there's early stage. Early stage is probably like, and then there's growth stage. Growth stage is like where the point where they're about to leave and go to a private equity group, and they'll buy a bunch of companies and then they'll sell it, securitize it on Wall Street. So these are all private things that aren't sold in the market. And then they have a market guy. Then they have a real estate guy or gal, and then they have typically somebody who is a controller or an accountant, right, for their own money. And then they have like things that they buy, like our guy, he buys helicopters, planes. When I say it's like James Bond lifestyle without the violence, your life on the line, it is literally that. Like, it is so cool. It's so cool. But it is a lot of freaking work. It's if you're not passionate about hearing people's stories, if you're not passionate about growing someone into success, then it's not the place for you. Venture, right? In that particular early stage. So what we do with our family's money, which is made up of Hatch and Loose, take their money, and instead of investing it in markets, we don't have a market. We go straight to the entrepreneur because valuations are higher. So let's say Nolan Star, let me pick up Christian, right? So Christian starts a company today. He may not have the money, he may not have the connections, but let's say he has a great idea that's a product let's say it's a product it's a widget that you put in someone's house, and he has a subscription model. Let's say it's Dollar Shave Club. There's a company called Pure that's one of our, but I'm just saying, like, let's say he's that model, right? He has this idea. It's like, look, I don't have the money to buy a bunch of these doohickeys, to be able to sell in the marketplace. I really, that's what I need to do, because if I can scale this up, and we say, look, we'll provide you a line of credit to billions of dollars, so you can buy as much as you want, and we'll give you the 3PL service, so you don't have to pay for all the shipping, and we'll give you our pricing on the doohickey, right? So we buy in bulk on our pricing, which is like saving this guy millions of dollars, right, to start up his venture. That's what we do. So we'll get to the point where they go after early seed stage money. So they get more and more investors, and the more people that come into the pot to play, higher the valuation goes. So you get to the point where it's at grow capital. So you're going to have to grow money. That's in like multi-millions, like $100 million, $200 million, up to billions. And then that's when the private equity comes in and buys. We were there first. We kept following with more and more investment, so we weren't diluted out of that. So we still have our percentage. Say it was 20%. Well, that 20%, he was worth nothing at that when we said we had 20%. That 20% now is worth a whole lot more, If let's just say they're $1 billion company, we own 20% of that, right? That's our take home when he sells to that private equity. So it's in a long range. I mean, you're there for the long haul. So a 10-year fund is typically my fund is a 10-year fund. We'll invest in pre-seed, some pre-seed, all the way up to early stage. So we could be writing a $50,000 check, or we could be writing a $2 million check to someone who's just like that. Big gamble, but when you have the pieces in place to serve that entrepreneur and leverage what they have, then everybody wins.
Kind of like Shark Tank, right?
Yeah, it is like Shark Tank. But last question.
How does your company actually make money off of it? Because if you give them money, so do you like buy like a percentage of their business and then you make money as they become successful?
That's my
or-
model, yeah. Or you buy, you don't buy, you're getting equity. You're owning shares of their company before they're sold. So they're not, you're giving a bunch of money. You've done it.
So, yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Responsible.